Pacific Drums and Percussion presents Get It Started with Daru Jones, with special guests 𝗟𝗓𝗪, Dana Davis, and Gerald Haywood. And now, live from Bold Studios in Nashville, let's get it started.
Greetings. Let me get situated. What up, y'all? Daru Jones here. We're live from Bold, Nashville Studios. Shout out to Megan and Tyler for letting me use this space. I'm very excited for today's guest. I'm actually going to be learning a lot too. Just give me a second to get situated. Yeah, it's hot outside in Nashville, Tennessee, and as you see, I got on shorts. It's officially summer today, but I'm definitely glad to be alive, and very excited about our guests. Before we get started, I want to talk about the gear that I'm using. Today, I'm using the _�𝗏𝗏 New Yorker DJNY. It's my signature kit with PDP DW Drums, and that's what you see right here. What you saw earlier, just a compact vibe. You know, everything is lightweight, 3 bags. You know what I'm saying? You can carry it. You can carry it from shoulder to shoulder. And I'm gonna put this closer. But yeah, so the vibe was, you know, just to have some compact where you can use, you know, subways, you know, in New York City, or I actually use this for gigs as well. So it's available now. I'm also a remote drum heads artist. As you can see, I have these custom 𝗚𝗔𝗥𝗩𝗪 drum heads. And, you know, we have my logo, that's the 𝗚𝗔𝗥𝗩𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗪 vibe. Cymbals I'm using today, 𝗘𝗘𝗧, and I actually did a collaboration with them. PSCX DJs 45, and everything is 12-inch. As I can see, it's like a vinyl record. We love vinyl. Everything is size 12, so I'm just using the hi-hats. I'm using the Masters Dark Crash for the cymbal, splash that. I'm also that percussion artist. As I can see these toys right here, tambour joints. Another thing we can talk about are my signature sticks with head drumsticks. It's kind of smearing off, but everything is because I'm Leo. The drum kit color scheme and the sticks are based off Leo colors. You know what I'm saying? Keep that going. What else we got? I think that's in the front. We got my Solomon microphone collaboration, which is a sub microphone. It's for all the low end frequencies. You can use it for not only your bass drum, you can also use it for the floor tom. Anything with a low end frequency, you can use it for that. So those are my products that I'm using. And thank you, Mr. Lindsay. Yeah, thanks. I actually had that logo for years. It's for my record label, 𝗚𝗘𝗥𝗩𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗏. And glad to be in this building today. It actually looks like a church. Fitting for the topic for today. You know what I'm saying? I'm very excited because it's actually, this is a part of my, my childhood and my beginnings as a drummer. As y'all may or may not know, I started playing at the age of 4 years old. And I started playing in church. My mom and dad, they're both organ players, MDs. I lost my pops a few years ago, rest in peace, Dad. And, that's how I learned. When I went to church, I had a lot of cousins and uncles that played. And I was like, yo, I want to do that too. So I just got on, and I was so short, they had to use a little school bench for me to sit on. But yeah, I remember those days, it was a really, really good time for me to grow. I actually grew up my instrument, starting at 4 years old. So I have over 20 years of experience. I don't want to reveal it, but I have over 20 years experience, and I'm thankful. I don't think what I've gotten in the church setting, I don't think I would have gotten in any other genre, because playing in the church setting. Actually, let's put the topic on stage, what we're going to be talking about today. So the topic for today is, how do I provide service in a worship setting? It's a very good topic, very good topic. I just talked about some of my beginnings, playing in church. And yeah, back at that time, I was listening to Rance Allen. He's a huge legendary gospel artist. He actually passed away. And my dad actually was one of his musicians. He played organ, with Rance. I actually got to play with Rance several times. And I never forget, actually one of my biggest influences is one of our guests today. His name is Dana Davis. And actually that groove that I was trying to play was Dana's, it was Dana's groove from this song called You Don't Know Like I Know. It's from the 𝗓𝗏𝗓𝗓, if I'm not mistaken, from the 𝗓𝗏𝗓𝗓 album. And it was a classic. It was such a classic pattern. I think that particular track had one of the Clark sisters on it, Dorinda Clark Cole, and she killed it. And there's actually a video online of them actually performing this song in a church setting, and it's killing. Like Dana, basically what I liked about Dana, he was playing like that new jack swing. Pocket was crazy. And that's one of the things that I admire about Dana coming up. Back then, it was not gospel chops. It was all about playing pocket. Two of the drums that I admired was him and another drummer named Michael Williams. And how I learned about Dana was from Dana was a live drummer for the group called the Winans from Detroit, Michigan, which is one of the biggest gospel groups ever and one of my favorite. Shout out to Bill Maxwell. He was actually a drummer and a producer of those records. So it's crazy to find out that the drummer was a producer. And then I started finding out that Dana also started becoming a composer. But yeah, it was just those drummers, it was all about laying it down. It just reminded me of like Clyde Stubblefield when I finally got into those drummers, more pocket drummers. And Michael Williams played in a group called Commission. So I'm very excited to get Dana's, his outlook on this specific topic. But yeah, coming up, just myself, it was so many drummers trying to get on, because I had a lot of cousins and uncles, and everybody was just waiting their turn. And the thing about back in the days, if you weren't doing your job, if you was dragging the beat or playing too fast, the next drummer was ready to take your spot. And sometimes you would get slid off, saying, because it wasn't in the service, basically they were providing a worship music. It's about dance music so everybody can catch the spirit. And they did not want the drummer, because the drummer, although we're the backbone, we can either make or break your gig, even back in the church setting. So if the drummer was dragging the beat, it was like dancing. People, I don't know how it was, but they just want everybody, to kind of follow the drummer to be that foundation. And yeah, it was brutal. It was so brutal because you have to be on point. But after getting slid up the drums a couple of times for not being on point, I did not want to be in that number again. And but yeah, providing drumming for a service is not easy, because you have to watch. Just like, you have you have somebody directing. You may have a band director, the MD. You got to watch out. You got to watch what he's doing, because when you're playing for like a choir, sometimes the choir may not perform the song just like the album, and you got to be watching the director. He's going to just say, I just want to hear the choir by itself and no music. And if you're not, if you're playing within that segment, you may not get that. You may not get that job. You may not be able to play for the choir the next time. So, it's all about watching and also being in tune with your environment. And what I've learned from playing in a church setting was learning how to play from your spirit and your soul. I think that's one of the things that I took from that setting that I brought to all other genres that I've been blessed to work in. Learning how to play from your heart and soul. Also being a team player. It's not just you that's on the bandstand. You have the organist, you have a guitar player, you may have a bassist. Nowadays they have so many pieces. They got percussionists. Sometimes they may have some person working MPC. That's what they're doing nowadays, and that's why I'm excited to talk about our other guest, 𝗟𝗓𝗓, which we're going to bring him up shortly. Thank you guys for being patient. Sorry for the delay. And we're coming to a close. I think we're going to do one more show. And I'm very thankful for everybody that's tuned in to all the shows starting from last year. I think the first show was in September. We had DJ Scratch, and now the things are opening back up. Now we're going back outdoors. Hopefully everybody's still being safe, masking up, or doing whatever they got to do. But we were just trying to have the show, to be there and give us a little bit of hope and inspiration during the pandemic. Hopefully that we were able to do that. Big thanks to DW, PDP family, for putting this together and allowing me to host the show. Very thankful for all the guests and the shows that we had, and I'm definitely excited about this. I wanted to focus on this topic because a lot of people, when a lot of us, when we make it big or we start genre bending, some people, they don't always talk about their beginnings. Of a lot of the people came from playing in church. That's their foundation, including myself. And I don't think I would be the drummer that I am today if I didn't have that spiritual church background. That was like training days for me. It was like boot camp. You know what I'm saying? Like you learn how to dress your best. And that's one of the things with the topic. It wasn't all about just coming to do the job. They always say you want to wear your Sunday's best. And so I learned that early, and it just trickled on to when I started, playing in other genres. I just stuck with me. It was like you had to dress your best, and basically you want to perform at your highest, because it's all about giving God. That's what we say. We're giving God, the praise back by doing it at our best to our abilities. So you're just providing in a setting, like I said, it's all about watching the director, music, whether it be the MD, got to be So about technical difficulties, y'all. You back? Cool. So yeah, I guess that's time to bring our first guest on. Very excited to talk to my brother. Yeah, we're gonna bring 𝗟𝗓𝗓 on, and yeah, I've known 𝗟𝗓𝗓 for a long time. You know, we actually grew up together, played in the same jurisdiction back in the days. Let me pause this. I had to YouTube on at the same time, so I'm saying that ends. But yeah, 𝗟𝗓𝗓 was a good friend of mine. We actually grew up together. I seen 𝗟𝗓𝗓 grow up. I remember us playing, you know, between Flint and Detroit. You know, we was in the same jurisdiction, and his pops, much respect to the Clarks. You know what I'm saying, what they've done for the community, big respect. But I remember seeing 𝗟𝗓𝗓. It's one of those situations where we were trying to play at the state conventions, and we're going to talk about all that. So without any further ado, our first guest, 𝗟𝗓𝗓. Yo.
Daru,
what up with it, bro?
Man?
I'm good, man. Let me I want to see you. So see if I can position this better so I can see you.
Yeah,
bro, thank you so much for being
on the show, man. Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be here, man.
Oh my God, so much history. And you said y'all had like a little flood situation back in the day?
Yeah, man. Well, the weekend was crazy, man. It was flooding. All of the freeways got flooded out, and you know, a couple businesses got shut down, including mine, where I am now. As you can see, we don't have any lights, but you know, the electricity is still working, but our lights just unfortunately went out yesterday.
Wow.
But other than that, though, we good, man. We still pushing through, man. You know, everybody is excited to be back to normal coming from this pandemic, you know what I mean? So ain't nobody tripping about it. Actually, some people are enjoying trying to bring light to the flood, because I don't know if you've seen, but there's people on the water in these floods swimming and
my God,
and ride jet skis and stuff. So by all means, you know, we staying positive, man. We happy to be back open, you know, so everything is good, man.
So blessed. And I mean, only can find that in the D or in Michigan for people to do swim in the water.
Only in the D, man.
Yo, but it was good to see. We actually just saw each other at Doobie Powell's. Our brother Doobie Powell had a birthday shed in Connecticut. And I just saw my brother 𝗟𝗓𝗓. We had a fantastic time, man. They had like 3 kits, and it was dope. You know what I'm saying? It was like a reunion. You know what I'm saying? My brother 𝗟𝗓𝗓, and we just reminisced. You know, I was saying, like, you know, between Flint and Detroit, coming together, you know, for those state meetings back in the days.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Let me say this: I had an honor to play the famous Daru setup, man. My drummers know what I'm talking about. I know you probably see Daru play. You know, you see it on the camera, but when you sit down on them drums, it's a task.
Bro, you killed it, bro. You
so much respect to you, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, bro. It's so good to have you on the show, because we have a lot of history, and I want to commend you for all the success that you've been having for the records with your sis, 𝗑𝗪. You know, y'all doing your thing. Much respect for the home team.
Same.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Same to you and the family. Last week was just talking about in Connecticut, man. We go way back, man. Yes. Like I was a youngster, and I used to come up Flint and come to your church, man. And he was killing, man. He was holding the stick. He was giving us gospel sound, but his technique was just so different. And I remember, as I shared with you last time at the Connecticut, man, Daru used to have to lower the seat for me. Like, I can't play like this, man.
My God, I forgot about that. I got to lower the seat. Damn.
Yeah, man. I remember all that, man. I remember it like just as clear as water, man. You was one of the guys that I could say that was just really so, you know what I'm saying, just pouring into me as a youngster, even though, you know, I might not had it all the way then, but you
did
the drums, and you was like, "No, come on, man, come on." Like, they used to see me when I used to walk in. As soon as they had called my pops up or something to come do this,
come play, come
be
play.
like, "Yo, Daru will hold up the sticks like you on the cover," and I'd just be like, "I mean, yeah, okay." So I came through. You adjusted the drums for me, made sure I was good, man. I'll never forget you for that, man.
Man, you know what? It's good. It's good you touched on that because that's how I came up. You know, back in the days when people come in that play the same thing, you get up and let them play.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's enough for all of us. Ain't nobody got to be hogging. You know, your pops, you know, general, you know what I'm saying? Let his son get up there, you know what I'm saying? And even outside of that, like having your older mentors and people over you, when they come in, how I came up is when they came in the room, you got up, you offered your seat. It don't matter how in groove you were, don't matter how much you thought you was getting it in. Now you gotta let, you know, that's out of respect. And I appreciate you, you know, for always being respectful. And it's so cool to just watch your journey, and you just been killing it, man, for years. And, you know, it's just a blessing, you know, from us coming from like Michigan, man. That's not an easy place because competition, you know what I'm saying? And Dana is still king to me. You know, Danny is still the guy to me. So
the king,
bro,
real.
King. So you know, I don't want to prolong it too much, but let's talk about the topic. Like what's your experience? Do you see put the topic on the screen again? Can you see the topic, Jay?
Yeah, I see it now. Yep. Yes, sir. So,
Jay, what's your outtake on this topic?
Okay. How do I provide services in a worship setting? Is that what it said? It went away.
Yeah, that was it. You said it.
So yeah, so for me, you know, I'm now, my pops then elevated me to the, I don't like to call it the position minister of music because I'm not a minister. But he has me over the whole music department at the church now. So, you know, it's a task, man. And I actually enjoy doing it, man. It was something that I never really had any experience in. I usually like to be the guy that's, you know, behind the scenes, you know, serving from the back, you know, playing the drums, doing whatever I have to do to, you know, add to the band sound or what have you. But now he has brought me to the forefront to actually be over the whole music department. So that's including the praise team, the choir. So I know some people may be wondering, you know, does that consist of you, you know, teaching songs, directing the choirs, you know, even possibly leading songs, or, you know, yes, it's all of that. And I have done all of it. You can go to YouTube.
Oh my God.
I even laughed at myself doing it because I know, like, I would have never expected me out of all people to be directing the choir. But you know, then I had my shares of moments when I, you know, served in the ministry as a director and, you know, and all everything in the music department. Right now, I am actively the keyboard player at the church. And it's great, man. That's, you know, my responsibility is everything to me, just making sure that, you know, we as the band in the music department is locked in with the flow of the service, and, you know, just making sure that we create an atmosphere to a worship friendly atmosphere to where people would be able to relax and, you know, just kind of let your hair down, if you will, and be able to, you know, accept the presence of the Lord in, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much our responsibility. And believe it or not, you know, some people try to make it seem like it's extra deep and it's such a hard task, but it's actually fun. You know, like at our church, you know, my dad, he lets us, you know, I mean, for crying out loud, I mean, he had the Clark sisters at his church, all this, you know what I mean?
My God. Woo.
His whole pastor, you know, journey, you know, pastor and journey. He always had my mom and Aunt Dorinda and Aunt Jackie and Aunt Twinkie sneak in, and he always
people do not understand what we used to get back in the day.
Yeah, like Michael Brooks. You know what I mean? You know, Michael Brooks was the music director or the minister of music at Greater Emmanuel back in the day. So we got history. You know, Lisa Page.
Brooks, Lisa Page.
Going on and on. But, you know, my pop stayed with, you know, a dope music department. So, you know, he lets us get off a little bit. He lets us do our thing. You know, we be implementing all of the hip hop stuff in there, R&B stuff, you know, and he just let us do our thing, man. But it's actually fun, man. And like I say, most importantly, outside of us having fun, you know, we have to make sure that we create an atmosphere, a worship atmosphere, to where people can come in and be able to, you know, really receive, you know, and experience the Spirit, you know. So, you know, that's pretty much it, man. That's my responsibility, to make sure we lay the groundwork out to where Bishop can come in and deliver a sermon and just take us to that next level, you know.
Yeah, and that's very commendable, J. Everything you said, it's bringing back so many memories. Oh
yes,
my
sir.
God, it's just like so many Kojic, you know what I'm saying?
Kojic all day.
All day. And just to add a question, like when we came up, there was not gospel chops back during that time. It was coming up. It was all about pocket, you know. Like Dana and Michael Williams kind of set the tone. It was others too. It was other amazing drummers in the D too. But like, what did you have any challenges, you know, coming up, even at your church, like just trying to, you know, because like I spoke about earlier, like it's not easy to play in a church setting, because you got to watch the director. And if you slouch or you make a mistake, the next drummer, if you dragging that beat or you playing it too fast, they give you that signal. It's like it's hardcore. Like, did you have an experience, or do you have any, you know, anything you want to share regarding that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely, man. Listen, even though I'm a part of a dynasty family, I think what made my family great and what made me great is that we got cut into when we was off. You know what I mean? Yes. Meaning, like you said, if something is dragging, then they'll let us know ASAP. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel the music. It's a feeling, and it ain't about what's being portrayed. They not looking at, oh, the crowd not moving, so y'all must not. No, it ain't about us trying to please anybody. It's just that if they are not feeling that music, that sound, if you're not hitting the right chords, playing the same beat, then they gonna give you a look.
For example, put on blast.
You will
see it.
Yeah, you will definitely get put, and I got put on blast by my own family, which is, you know, I don't regret it. I appreciate it. And now that I am to the level I am now, I understand it and respect it. And you can't never forget about where you came from. Yes. Just to give you an example, like maybe a couple months ago, my mom, we was playing a churchy tune, and we was funking. We made that joint funky, you know what I'm saying? We rocking. But my mama, she rocking with us, but she looking at me like, I said, what, you know, and I'm playing, I'm like, looking at her like, what? She's like, where's the claps? The claps. She was talking about the drum machine.
Oh, that's a modern.
You know what I'm saying? She was talking about the drum machine. She like, okay, if y'all gonna do all that, we need to hear that steady. Like, because, you know, we love to this off timing thing. You know, our generation, that took the off timing thing to
another level.
Everything off timing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we was doing our thing and doing a riff or something, the whole band. And she's like, yeah, it's sweet. But she looked at me and said, where's the clap? We need the clap. You know?
I'm so glad you spoke up on this, and not to cut you off. So back in the days, we didn't have those NPCs or those. We had to be the NPC.
You had to be the
machine. So now, you know, that's why I wanted to have J. Drew on, because just talk about the modern church. You know, like how it is now. You play into a click track. Yeah, and that's your. But you should, even with that still don't give you free reign to just go crazy and get your Vinny and Wecko chops on. Just to make sure you playing within a team setting, because it's all about the Spirit coming in at the end of the day. Absolutely. And I know the music is a lot more advanced, but I'm glad you spoke about that, Drew. That click track.
But to even speak about where I came from, though. Too, as well, is that, you know, see, I think when I really started getting involved, like, in molding into my own sound as a young teenager, you know what I mean? We started doing all of the off time and stuff, which is dope. But I was kind of built on, you know, guys like you, guys like Dana Davis, you know what I mean? Yeah. But one of my close mentors was my god brother. I don't know if you remember Jerron Wilson. That used to.
Oh yeah, I remember Jerron. I forgot about Jerron.
Yeah. So he was like and they was really solely built on pocket, like, and that's something that would never leave me. I will always have that pocket, and I actually even get on my drummers, the guys like my young guys that's coming up under me about like, yeah, y'all can do all that, but make sure you got to lock into that pocket. You know what I mean? And the pocket is everything to me. I mean, all that, like I say, the off time and stuff, we can do that for days, but if that pocket ain't right, I can care less about what you can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like in a church setting, it's not. I mean, that's when you get selfish. It's not all about what you're doing. You're losing. You're losing the whole concept of why we, in this worship building, it's all about. And I know the music is a lot more advanced now, so that's all good. But it just has to be done in context. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about giving God your best. And if your best is to do dentist, pause, the shops, you know what I'm saying? It's cool, but still do it in context. Because that's a good example. Like Dennis Chambers, he can chop your head away. But when
wait a minute, you go there?
Yeah.
So crazy. We was literally just watching the Parliament documentary on Amazon. I didn't know Dennis Chambers was their drummer.
Oh my God.
Like, not the chop master Dennis Chambers.
Playing pocket, bro.
I did not know that. Yep. So that's a perfect example of that, just that he had that bass, that core to just be able to play them Parliament grooves. And we ain't heard none of those Dennis Chambers on Parliament records. I would have never knew that. Like, it was so literally 2 days ago, I was getting my hair braided and I was watching the Amazon Prime. I was watching a documentary of the Parliament, George Clinton and all of them. And then Dennis Chambers was one of the interviewers on there. And I'm like, what Dennis Chambers doing on here? I know his choppy self wasn't playing.
Yo, he's on records.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't know.
Oh my God.
It's crazy you brought that up. I had to mention that.
Oh my God. Yeah, yo, it's so much. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. Like, as a drummer, like Jay Drew, we still learning. You know what I'm saying? We're thankful for what God have done for us, but we're still growing. We still want to learn. We're still excited. And that's the thing about us. I tell people about me, because I came up super strict, and Jay Drew can probably attest, coming up 𝗘𝗧𝗜𝗏, Pentecostal, everything outside of secular, we were told was a no-no. We had to sneak and listen to it. So a lot of music for myself that I should have known, like Michael Jackson and Prince stuff, I didn't get to learn it until later on. Like I was late until I did a cover show. I was like, oh, I may have heard it because my dad was not born again, and when I go in this car, he was playing Parliament and stuff, but I still didn't even know until later on. We were late, so I'm not surprised that you didn't realize that was Dennis Chambers. But Dennis is all around. He's definitely the guy.
Yes, sir. Yes,
but Jay, thank you so much for your information and knowledge. I wanted to know, do we have any questions for Jay before he takes off? Any questions? Jules? Looking at my screen. Okay, no questions. That means Jay Drew is the maestro. But yo, bro, thank you so much. I appreciate all the knowledge. I'm so proud of everything that you're doing. Shout out. And Jay was referring to his mom. His mom is the one and only. You can speak about your mom, brother.
Yeah, man. My mom is one of the members of the legendary group, the Clark Sisters. Shout out to my aunties. And yes, man, 𝗟𝗏𝗪, that is my mom.
Yes.
My pops, and shout out to my pops too. Speaking of
Jay Drew,
now the presiding bishop of the whole 𝗘𝗔𝗥𝗏 incorporation around the whole world. So
no way.
Yeah, you didn't know he got the presiding bishop position?
I didn't. My ears are not. I am into
the
streets.
Yep, wow. we was just in Memphis last week and we did his installation service. So even just to see that, even just to see how the Clark sisters started off in 𝗘𝗧𝗥, and it was the family thing. We got my dad got married to the family. They grew up together in Detroit. Now my dad is over the whole organization.
Oh, that's major.
So shout out to my pops, man. But
shout out to Bishop. I went to your grandma's school when your grandma had the school in the
7 Mile. Yeah, Clark and Turk.
I my school to learn how to play bass, bro.
Wow, that's crazy.
I didn't stick with it, but I was scared of her. I mean, because of the reputation. I was like, I didn't want to do the wrong thing.
Right. We all was like that for sure, man. And I want to shout out some of your guests on here, man. Dana, man, that's such the OG, man. Man, much love to Dana Davis, man. Detroit legend. He was always from the Jerry Curl days when he was 14, playing on the Winans records, man. Much love to him, man.
Oh my God, facts.
And Gerald Haywood, he was the first drummer I ever seen that had a hydraulics drum stool.
Oh my God, we're gonna talk about that.
And you got to tell him one time. I hope he remember. Mention this to him. Ask him about the story when they came and did a show in Detroit at the Fox Theater. I was mad young. Me and Key was mad young. We went to the show and they was doing that bump, the bump, and Gerald was hopping on the seat like. I said, "Do y'all see him?" And then that same particular show, my mom. It might have been that same song. Mary J called my mom on stage.
What?
And she got up there and killed it on the stage with Mary and had all of the R&B things. She done turned it to a gospel song. She's like, I'm not y'all, man, but I came here to talk about Jesus. And she had Mary in tears. The crowd, everybody with their drinks was like this. But yeah, man, much love to the OGs, man. Make sure you send my love to Dana and Gerald.
I will. Thank you so much, bro. Love
yes, sir, man. Appreciate you.
Let's work on some music, bro.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
I gotta get these plaques. Like my man is getting all these plaques.
Man, I'm trying to get on your level, man.
Oh, bro, we overdue for working together, but I'm looking forward. You got love from me.
Send
the love to your pops. Congratulations, and to the family. Much love to the legacy. I'm thankful that I'm a part of it. And wish you all the best, bro. Yeah.
Yes, sir, man. Love you, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Yes. Did you put 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓? You can find him on all the socials. You put that up, Jules?
Yep.
Cool.
At 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓. Yes, sir.
Word. Look out for the 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 collaboration coming.
Let's go.
We're not even gonna let y'all know we're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Then y'all gonna find out when y'all find out.
Let's do it.
Salute, my bro.
Okay, bro. Take care, man.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.
You too. Wow. See, history with my brother. I'm so proud of 𝗟𝗓𝗓. Just seeing him we were both young, but he was younger than me. But just seeing him grow up and to where he's at today, he's been killing it. Awards and very innovative. And I'm very excited and happy for my brother. And we're going to move on to our next guest. I think we're going to go with one of this next guest is literally one of my biggest influences in my beginnings and still today. And when I talk to Dana, he just be like, I don't even know where I see it, but I'm hopefully when you start watching the videos, you can see his influence in my playing. What I love about Dana, he just has so much attitude. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he had the pocket, but he played with so much attitude, and that's one of the things that I developed in my drumming. When Dana's on, you know he's playing because of the DB. He's bossy. He's a boss. You know. And without further ado, our next guest, Dana Davis.
What's up,
my bro?
What's the deal, y'all?
Man, we got you here, brother. Oh my God.
𝗟𝗓𝗓 talked about my Jerry curls.
Yo, I remember coming and seeing you for the Young Artists for Christ. I don't know if you remember those, the Young Artists for Christ days.
Young Artists for Christ.
With Michael Brooks, bro.
Mike Brooks.
And I remember I was 16 years old at the Young Artists for Christ convention, and I actually for your business card, you had this gold and black business card. I'm like, oh, I thought it was the coolest thing ever to see a drummer with a business card. This cat, Dana, gave me his card. It was black and white. I was like, this cat is cool. And you was always been the same, always humble. And like I tell people, you was one of the biggest influences in my drumming. And it definitely trickled on to the other genres that I played. But I want to thank you for what you've done. And, for those that don't really know your history, can you give them just a summary of your beginnings, and then we can go on to the topic?
I started playing drums at the age 3, raised in church. My brothers was playing drums, piano, bass, everything. So my oldest brother had a studio and a rehearsal place, and the Winans used to rehearse there. And they were looking for another drummer because all the other drummers were leaving. And so Tim Bowman was the MD at the time.
Oh, wow.
And they gave me a hard time. I was 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 back in that day, you know, like, yo, I can play. Let me show you. No, you know, sit down, shut up, you know. And then I got my start playing the drums. As soon as I sat down, everybody was quiet. They were shaking their head, and they were like, he got a nice pocket. Let's give him a try. You know, I had brothers just like 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗏's aunts, Twinkie.
Yes.
She was man, she was brutal on musicians, especially drummers. My brothers, whenever I would play the drums in church and I go crazy or I start feeling good, their eyes come out their head like a freaking Godzilla or something. Tell me to either play or get off the drums and yell at me. So you got all these people looking. So, you know, that was my start. You know, I don't regret it, just like 𝗟𝗓𝗓 said, he don't regret it. But from me playing with the Winans and they exposing me to the things I was exposed to, I met Kern, and from there, Kern introduced me to Tommy Whitefield.
Oh, Thomas Whitefield. Oh.
Yeah, and so that opened up other doors to give me another way of approaching music because I was used to playing with a group. Then I started playing with a choir, although I was raised in church doing all of that. But it was just a whole different kind of an animal because this was a different kind of guy. So it goes from playing with Tommy Whitefield to other doors start opening. Tommy was like, hey, we're going to do these recordings. I was like, bet. I ain't saying no. So, you know, then he gave me the opportunity to do a recording with him with Aretha Franklin.
Oh, my God.
Then we did a recording together. Me, him, and Turn wrote a song on one of his records together. So it just, every door just started open. I mean, every opportunity after every opportunity. And
yo, I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but at a specific time in that gospel, you had the whole game on lock. All the records that was coming out, look at them credits, Dana Davis albums. And Dana was referring to a Detroit legend named Thomas Winfield, rest in peace. One of my favorite gospel artists. Was he classically trained on the keys? Classically trained? Was he a classical trainer?
I think he went to school for classical training.
Yeah,
but a lot of it was all ear and just straight church, you know. Man. Back in our day, we didn't know nothing about reading music.
Facts.
Back in our day, music wasn't important to read because the gigs we were playing didn't require us to know how to read music.
And we also didn't even know what rudiments were. We was doing the stuff, but I know personally, I didn't even know that it was a paradiddle. Like that lick that I was trying to play that from the You Don't Know Like I Know, the groove I played.
Yeah.
You did a reverse paradiddle, but I didn't even know that's what it was. We just
I didn't either.
Yo, but I would say to this day, I think that it gave us an advantage and it forced us to be creative and think outside the box because we had to figure it out. We didn't have the cheat codes. You know what I'm saying? I think that learning what it was, it only helped us to present it when we get in the setting, if we were teaching. But other than that, I think it forced us. But I just want to commend you, bro. The records that you were on, man, you were just such a, like I said, bossy drummer. You know what I'm saying? You knew when Dana got on because the volume, that's a lot of the stuff that I've added to my drumming, just being bossy. And I remember seeing you playing with this group called Witness, with Lisa Page. It was just you and Michael Williams as a duo killing.
Yeah. Mike Brooks brought me into the game and showed me a whole nother world. Mike Brooks exposed me to a whole other world of playing music, approaching music. See, what was good about my come up is just like 𝗟𝗓𝗓's story. We don't know what ground level zero is. Because when we came in the game, the people we was playing for was at the top of their game.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So me and 𝗟𝗓𝗓 kind of like got promoted, if you will. So, you know, did we get yelled at? Yeah, we got yelled at. Did we get embarrassed? Yeah, we got embarrassed. But when it came to just coming in the game, we was at the top of the game. So I don't know what ground level zero looked like. So everything I was exposed to was at a level of excellence that, you know, you either hang or you got to go.
Yes, sir. And with that said, I want to also shout out another group that he played with, the legendary Winans from Detroit, Michigan. One of the foundations, you know what I'm saying, at least for us still living legends. I mean, they lost one of the brothers, but Dana was he was their live drummer, you know, and for him to have that gig, I know that was great, exposure for him. And I remember they did the live at Carnegie Hall, which is one of my favorite Winans albums. Bro, y'all killed it on that record. live at Carnegie Hall.
Great record.
Yeah, but also what I liked about Dana too, you give Dana a solo, this cat could play all the 𝗑𝗦𝗑𝗩𝗑𝗑, Dennis Chambers chops. It was crazy. Like Dana, he was like Dennis Chambers. He was like our Dennis Chambers.
Well,
he would play the pocket, but when you gave him a chance to do that stuff,
I have to give credit to not just my brother, Jeff Davis, who rest in peace.
Jeff,
not Jeff Lowe, but I have a brother named Jeff as well as Jeff Lowe.
Okay.
That they all taught me all those things. So all my life I was at the top of my game because my brothers was at the top of their game. One of my brothers was the music director for Carmen.
Really?
Yeah. And so we don't know what Ground Level Zero looked like, but I have to give credit to somebody that I really don't want to because he just gonna wear me out when he hear it. What was beautiful about what I was doing as I was evolving on the drums, God will always set me up with somebody who was doing it already, and they exposed me to more of it. So I have to give shout out to Gerald Haywood. He exposed me to Steve Gadd. He exposed me to Dennis Chambers. I was learning how to do the triplets with the foot in it. He was already doing it. So he came with an agenda when he came to my basement. Kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give you all this business. And yeah, he gave it to me.
Pause.
Yeah. So but we became brothers forever. And so it's like we'll be on the phone right now, and our wife beater's like, hey, check this roll out. Check that roll out. And it's just so beautiful that we can still do that to this day. Yes. I think we'll probably be 90 years old still trying to figure it out. Over the phone, over Zoom or FaceTime, trading rolls and stuff. So all of that stuff I was exposed to. I had Joe Smith.
Oh, Joe Smith. Ooh.
So that's my sound. You know what I'm saying? My sound was Joe Smith meet Bill Maxwell with Dana. So I had that combination, and it just Marvin Winans gave me an opportunity to just be creative because he was creative. So that's what made the Winans band such a family, because we wasn't locked into this box of this is how you play. You gave us the structure. Now make the song come to life.
Wow, that's beautiful. I just know what I've learned too from you is just you had a signature vocabulary. Certain feels when you hear that, you didn't have to see it. You just knew that was Dana. And if it wasn't done in a certain DB, that's not, because you had a lot of people trying to imitate it. But Dana has his vocabulary was very, and I think that was one of the first times I heard a drummer play like New Jack on a record. I don't even think there were any records recorded like that with that New Jack swing.
Yeah, that was something me and Skeeter used to do all the time back in the day. Mario Winans.
But y'all don't know Skeeter.
Yeah, we would get it in with the Jack swing, but the Jack swing came from the East, so I got exposed to that playing around with Gerald as well. It's just the trade-off of what we was doing. We understood the swing. And then, me getting exposed to not just Gerald, but Kern and Valdez.
Yeah, Valdez. Oh my God.
They, this edge, I already had edge, but they gave me a little more different kind of approach to it. Like, man, kind of like swing is to make your head do what?
Yes.
So what's beautiful about Jay Drew is he took what I did and he took it to a whole nother place where I look at him like, dog, you ain't human. I don't understand what you just did. Because he can play the pocket, and at any given time, that timing to be just like, okay, where's it going? And then when the one is right back at the one, I'm like, okay, you got. I don't understand what you just did, but yeah, dog, that's all real.
Yeah,
it came from me. All my triplets, like you said, when we come up in the day, you had a gang of drummers. So I never got the chance to play the drums. I never got to be the guy who played down at the cathedral centers. I was David, if you will. Always the one got pushed to the back. So a lot of my roles come from I started playing congas.
That's what I was gonna mention. A lot of people they don't know, and I just found this out when I was in the deep for Christmas and we had our handshake. You told me that you learned how to do those triplet rolls because you was a percussionist. So can you tell us about that? That's crazy.
Yeah, I started playing congas. I had a guy named LeBaron, and he was showing me different stuff, how to pop on the congas, how to just interact with the drummer, how to interact with the music without getting in the way. You know, so all of those things, man, all my triplets, every kind of role I can imagine, how I would go in and out of it on the congas, I was able to apply to the drums because I was poor. So in my basement, we didn't have a foot pedal.
Oh, wow.
Our hand was the foot pedal. So you were still trying to figure out how to make the groove feel good with the foot on the kick with your hand and still doing fills.
Oh, my God.
So, you know, being creative that way, you know, gave me a whole nother approach to drums as well. So I had a lot of opportunities. I was exposed to a lot, you know, and it helped like make me who I am.
Man, I'm so grateful too, because I don't think I would be where I was at today if I didn't have you as an example to look at. You know, I want to give credit to where credit is due. And it was not even just the drums. It was like, I remember back in the days, you know, people coming, like seeing everybody was dressed in like suits. But when we go to the Young Gods of Christ, they was rocking the used jeans and the leather jackets. Just like these cats was the coolest looking dudes. You know, Joe was just so innovative, and it was just great to see that.
Yeah, don't forget the Jerry curl. The Jerry curl was going on back then.
Yo, that Jerry juice,
yeah, it was getting on the drumsticks.
Oh my God, I'm so honored to have you on the show, Dana.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, I want to see if you could touch on this topic and just maybe give some tips. Juice, can you put the topic on the screen real quick?
How do I provide service in worship settings?
You can make it brief as possible.
It's all about understanding the music you playing, coming prepared to know the music, coming to not have the Kobe Bryant ideal of ME is still is the word for I. You know, we still play organized music, understand. Me having my background and my experience taught me how to bring out the best in musicians, empower musicians, empower singers, teach them how to listen to the stage with not just their ears, but with their eyes. So when you playing, you watching what's happening. Is what I'm playing moving the audience? Is it moving the group? Is it allowing everybody to go into this place where we all become one? If not, then let's change what we playing. You know, I try to, even from young guys to older guys, I think it's my job to empower musicians, empower people, to show them their worth, to show them their options. So when you're in a situation where you're playing for service, you got to know the music first. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Everybody quick to want to pray to God, but pray to God for what? If you don't know the music, he can't bring nothing to your remembrance you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, from playing with drum machines now to not playing with drum machines back in the day, you have to understand the music. So setting the service, knowing the sound of the house, you know, what does it take to get this house in the right place so that the preacher don't have to come behind us and do our job.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to bring up too, I forgot about that. Back in the days, they didn't have the plexiglass. There was no separation. So you had to also train your ear because you didn't want to be that guy being a loud person. You know what I'm saying? They would definitely. You
have to learn that. I learned that from Joe Smith. Actually, I learned that from Jeff Lowe. Jeff, as big as he was, he never played power. Not saying he couldn't, but he'll tell you in a minute, turn me up. If you can't hear me, tell him to turn me up. And Jeff was a finesse drummer, you know. Joe Smith was a power drummer, but he knew how to stay relaxed.
Yes.
I think Detroit drummers, we play with our soul, we play with our heart, we play with our emotions. That can be a curse. It can be a blessing at the same time, you know, because we get into the music and then volume is like higher than the sky.
Out the door.
You know what I'm saying? So it's knowing how to. So that's what I like about the young dudes like Jay Drew and Jay Brooks and them.
Yeah.
What I admire when I watch them play in Snoop, they play relaxed. Although they play with their emotion and their soul, they play relaxed. They don't allow their emotions to make the music go somewhere it don't need to go. Wow. They stay in control of where they going in the music, and they let you know this is where we about to go in the music. and you gonna come with us because you don't have no choice because we gonna make it feel that good. So in my day, we did the same thing, but we just approached it different. And so we got, like you said, we had to learn how to play soft and still keep the energy, the intensity, you know, that was still setting worship, setting the service when we was doing concerts.
Yes.
So, you know, this, you know, it's just a door that's always evolving. But another way of how to approach music. But as you get older, like you and I, you start understanding. And so now it's not about the chops, it's how you understand how to play the music to where, yeah, I'm gonna make you feel good. And I ain't gonna do a lot, but everything I do, you're gonna remember it.
Yes, sir. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
So, you know.
And that's why Dana is still able to eat. You know, we're still able to get jobs because that's what people, it's the feeling that they get. And I was saying earlier in the show, I just think that it's something that we got playing in the church setting that I don't think I would have gotten in any other genre, because I don't think I could have learned how to play from the heart and soul, you know, in other genres. That's just my personal, and I might be biased because I came up playing in church, but we just learned how to, you know, worship on our instrument.
Right.
So,
but it came with a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It came with, what did you do at home with your instrument? How much time did you put with God with your instrument? Not trying to be spooky or spiritual, but it was still about your understanding who God was and what he meant to you, you know? And you have to do your research on what that means to you. Yes. And once you understood, that's what you wanted to give back from your heart. And Joe Smith told me something too. I used to see a lot of drummers do it because we didn't have a click track. But I even see drummers who do it with the click track. When you do a feel, you gotta know how to bring that beat right back, so it sit right back in that pocket. You know. Yeah, we get excited, we do that feel, and it started at 99. We at 120 before you know it. It's like, what the heck? So you have a lot of drummers who even do that with drum machine. Me and Gerald, that was weird. I'm sure he'll talk about it. We was talking on Father's Day, and he was talking about how he wish he don't play in church like he used to, because he want to separate work, which playing with a drum machine when he out gigging. When he go to church, he don't want to play with it. He want that freedom to be able to express himself. You know, he'll talk about it. And so, you know, it's all about expressing ourselves in a way where we can have the freedom to be able to go where we need to go in the music. You know, and today they play with the machine, and I love the machine, especially when you understand how to play with the machine. Yeah.
But I think I'm on the fence because sometimes I feel like people make that a crush, and they feel like because it's there, they can just wild out. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you got to still play in context. It's like I go to when I go visit, and I have my nephew is dope. His name is Quavo Anderson. He's on Instagram, Big Quavo. He's amazing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the young guys, they have a lot more events. But when you have that click track there, sometimes people, they don't know how to act. They're just like, oh, okay.
That's the beauty of it, because it's forcing you to be more innovative when you got the machine. And sometimes as your vocabulary grow, you want to be able to get it all out. You're like a preacher who never get a chance to preach, and you want to get it all out in the first 8 bars. You start at 10 in the first 8 bars of the song. So, you know, it's about the leader still, like Jay Drew said, it's about the leader giving directions and instruction to where people understand this is how we play organized music. You know what I'm saying? Even with a drum machine, you still don't have to know how to play organized music. And so that was the beauty of me being able to switch, like Jay Drew did, switch to playing keyboards. Now it gives me a whole nother approach to music. I don't play like a regular keyboard player. I play rhythms on the keyboard. So me and the drummer and the bass is always talking rhythmically. Where I'm still giving them understanding like, yo, you and the bass player is the foundation. The piano, the brass, the guitar, we the sun. We gonna shine all these colors down on the foundation. So y'all still gotta make it make sense while we bring what we bring to the table. And once we all understand our role and be affirmed in who we are in our role, I think the stage is always gonna be beautiful. That's how you have set worship.
That's well said, bro. Well said for the topic. And I just, before we let you go, I remember hearing about you playing organ, because back in the days, just like drummers and musicians, they were like superheroes. So if it wasn't no YouTube, so it wasn't no social media. So if somebody was hot and you got a chance to be in the same room, or you heard any gossip, it was like a big deal. It wasn't no TMZ. So I remember hearing that Dana was not only a drummer, he started playing organ. It was like, what? This cat can play organ and he can produce. So it was inspiring hearing that. And for myself, I think when I became a composer and I started producing, that totally changed my mentality on when I would play, recording wise and even in a live setting. And I think that's why I may have gotten a couple more calls, you know, than the next person when it comes to certain gigs. Same for Dana, because you learn how to service the music. There's 1,000 things that you can play, but only a couple is going to work.
Right.
Good example, like when you listen to the 𝗚𝗘𝗧 records, he played the most simplistic fills. A person it's not even a drummer, they can play those fills. You can sing those fills because they although they're easy, it's not always hard to play easy. It's not always easy to play pocket. Nope. Because you know, if your attention span is short, you just get bored. You know what I'm saying? So it's still an art form, but it was just commendable and very inspiring finding out that Dana was not only a drummer, he was also an organist and a composer. That was huge. So I want to commend you, Dana. I want to thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for what you've done for the community. I'm so grateful to have a brotherhood. One of my heroes that I looked up to. Now we're friends, and I'm just so thankful. Much respect to you. You're still going strong. You look great. And we also got something coming at some point. I don't want to talk about it yet, but
we got some things about to happen. It's going down, Facebook.
It's going down. So
hey, talk about Gerald's Jerry. He had a Jerry curl too.
Oh, we're gonna talk about all that. So we don't have any questions, but we wanna know, what can we find Dana on the socials? Can you put that on the stage?
You can go to Dana Davis page too. You can catch me there, or Dana Davis, or The Reach. I have a men's movement on Instagram. You can go there. Daru was a part of that with me, posting about encouraging men and empowering men.
Yes.
And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm working on projects, doing stuff for outreach to go to men's homes and the shelters and things of that nature to encourage other brothers who don't have the opportunities we have, you know.
That's awesome.
And get them another chance to dream, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then our platform is music, and so we can do it through music.
That's very commendable for what you're doing, Dana. Like, I want to, because it's like a lot of times when we get in certain positions, sometimes we forget about where we come from. And I actually want to start doing a little bit more outreach and getting involved in certain things, because I was there. We've both been there. Yeah. Starving, trying to get on. You know, some of us, we've been broke. We didn't have money. You know what I'm saying? So we've been in those shoes, but I think that's commendable. Support my brother Dana in the Detroit area. Support what they're doing. And brother, keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on inspiring. So grateful for your time. Wishing you a beautiful day. Looking forward to the special stuff that's going to come at some point. Much respect, brother. Yeah.
Much love, bro.
Much love.
Peace. Yeah.
Peace. Wow. Very inspiring. A lot of great information that Dana shared with us. I know this show is a little bit lengthy, but I think I didn't want to shorten the conversation, being that this is definitely a part of my roots. And anybody that compliment my drumming and y'all say, you know, what y'all like about me from the day, is because of my roots, like Dana, they are part of my DNA. You know, although I developed my own style eventually, you can still hear my influences in my playing. So I want to shout out my brothers from the Midwest and D-Town, D-Fam, Dana, also Jay Drew. We got one more guest. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We know the show is a little bit lengthy. Thanks for hanging in there. But I'm so excited to hear with my brother and our final guest. His name is Gerald Haywood. Do your Googles. The man is a genre-bending drummer. He's done it all. It's been very inspiring, from gospel to R&B to any other genres. He's played it at a high level. And without any further ado, Gerald Haywood.
Yo.
What up with it, bro?
What up, man? What up, DJ? How you doing?
I'm good. And yourself?
Oh, man, I'm hanging in there, listening to all of the interviews and everything. It's pretty cool.
Man, thanks so much for being a part of this. I know you're a busy man, so I know you got other work you got to do. But thanks for taking my time with us on this topic. Man.
I've been chilling. I just had a grandbaby, so I've been kind of on the chill. Like I think Thursday she came, so I'm doing the family thing right now. But You know, it's all cool. My name is G Pop. You know, so
Yes.
I'm here.
Okay, that's what's up. Congratulations,
Again,
brother.
yep.
People know who you are. I mean, if you want to give a short background of your beginnings, that's fine. If you don't, we can just go right into the topic. But it's on you.
That's all good. You know, I'm Gerald Haywood. I've been around for a long, long time, and you know, I don't like to really say this, but I was like the first to kind of come out of the church atmosphere into the R&B and the hip hop and the, you know, the pop and all of this stuff. So, yeah, man, like, you know, I've been blessed to be able to do this. You know, I've heard you talk, Daru, about, you know, just, you know, not knowing rudiments and not knowing how to read music and none of that stuff, just knowing how to play from the heart. And I think that the church atmosphere gives you that. You know, us growing up in church, we just come, it's a different type of attack that we have when we sit down to play drums. It's a different type of language that we bring. And, you know, there is a lot of drummers that are on the tippy top of everything in the industry right now, and they all come from church. So, you know, that's where I come from. And I've played with everybody from Teddy Riley to Michael Jackson to, you know, Stevie Wonder to Chris Brown to Beyonce, Mary J. Blige, just a whole host of people. So, you know, that's me. I'm Gerald Haywood, and that's who I am. Did we get cut off? Hello? Okay, so,
Yo. I can hear now. Yep. Technical difficulties. We're back. So yeah, man, Gerald was speaking on some really cool things on his background, his beginnings, and he was definitely right. He's definitely one of the first people from the gospel, to break out into other genres. And much respect and salute to our brother Gerald. So without any further ado, let's bring him back in. Yo.
Okay.
You back.
Yeah. It's all
The
good.
phone, the other device it died. So I had to
okay. I'm sorry.
switch it out. But yeah, you could.
Cool.
Do you remember what you was touching on? You want to continue?
Yeah. I was just talking about the people that I work with, and I was blessed to work with. Everybody from Beyoncé to Chris Brown to Michael Jackson to Stevie Wonder, Shaka Khan, just able to really, when I came in, when the door was open for me, me and Kern and Valdez.
Oh wow, that's D-Fam.
All three of us, we just came in and we just, played it like we heard it. And, Teddy Riley taught us a lot, man. He taught us how to play with the drum machine because people wasn't doing that really. When we came into, when I started playing God, you know what I mean? And that system is still being used to this day with playing with the drum machine. Like, people, Teddy said to us, he said, I made the song with the drum machine. So the drum machine is the bed. So you guys, when you go to do it live, you got to use the drum machine because I made the songs with the drum machine. Wow. So you got to have that. And that's something that he taught us. And man, we just ran with it, man. We did it for everybody. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Valdez being the programmer, Kern being the MD, and me being the drummer. And then, that's who I am today. And I was blessed for all you guys that were like in public school or even, just at your churches, to be able to hear me on a different level. Yes. You know what I mean? And to hear me, come out of church, still hold up the bloodstained banner and do what I do, and then be recognized for being and sounding different. You know what I mean? Like the R&B, they couldn't figure out why I sounded so much different than what was already happening drum-wise. So it became a thing. It's like, yo, where you from and why you play like that and why does it sound like that? And it's like, oh man, I'm from church.
That's it.
Church is my background. And being from New York, it's a lot of drummers and New York is a big little place. You know what I mean? But I was always fighting to be heard. So that's where my aggression came from, just playing drums. It's like, oh man, I'm doing these triplets. I'm doing something else that the next man is probably not doing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I was just always fighting for space, basically fighting to be heard. And then once everybody heard what I was doing, it was like, oh man, he's doing something different. It ain't, and I was able to be blessed to change the whole, approach, to playing R&B and approach to playing pop and gospel. And it just became a different approach. And that was all because I was trying to be heard. I was trying to be, you know what I mean? I was trying to be just heard, man. I was trying to be heard in a bowl full of other drummers, So
I'm glad you mentioned that. I don't want to cut you off.
No.
Everybody that's on the show is like everybody's generals in their own right, but also outside thinkers as well. And that's one thing about Gerald, Dana, and Jay Drew. We all thought outside the box. I know I got called a weirdo, you know what I'm saying? But it was just like I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. In my lane, although Dana and Michael Williams, they were the pillars. When I got exposed to the jazz drummers, from Vinnie Colaiuta, Steve Gadd, and Omar Hakeem, I started bringing that vibe you know, back then I got in a lot of trouble because it wasn't gospel chops
yeah.
back then. But it would just, I wanted to be heard, like you said, thinking outside the box, and people around you that's carnal minded. It can be very frustrating, but I commend you for sticking with what you stuck with, and that's why you're still a general to this day. Also, you know, having a style and a presence,
right?
You know, that's important too. That's important too. So I just want to thank you for what you've done. You probably one of the first, you know, and I'm not to be racist, like black dudes to play with DW. You know, that was huge for us because DW was not an easy brand to get with. You know, I consider DW the upper echelons as far as like the company. And he was one of the first guys that I saw, and it was like, dang, he got with DW? Like, that's major. That's major, bro. You want to talk about that? Yeah,
well, you know, it's been 25 going on 26 years that I've been with DW. And I'm gonna tell you how I came across DW. It's kind of, it's not weird, but this is what happened. I was working at getting ready to do Arsenio Hall show with this group called Silk, you know, and we was in LA and we was rehearsing at a studio called Third Encore, and Third Encore had an office in it. It had a space in it where Yamaha acquired that space, and it was like an office for the Yamaha drummers. And, you know, their A&R was there and all of that stuff. So when we walked in, you know, I'm coming off a tour with probably Mary or somebody like that. And
that's Mary J. Blige for people that don't know.
That's Mary J. Blige. Yeah. Right. So like I came in and I was playing Yamaha at the time. Oh, wow. So I went to the office and I knocked on the door. And I forgot the guy's name, but the guy is no longer with us. That was the A&R. He passed away. But anyway, I went into his office. I knocked on the door. I went into the office and I said, "Hey man, you know, I'm Gerald Haywood. You know, this is my resume, blah, blah, blah. I really want to be a part of Yamaha. You know what I mean?" And he was like, "Man, I understand your name's Gerald Haywood, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "But you can't just come in my office and, you know, you can't do this. Like, you can't, like, you need an appointment and all of this stuff." And he was like, "You know, I got 𝗚𝗥𝗩𝗘 coming, so you have to leave." Oh my God. So I walked out his office. I was sad. I was very sad. And I walked out his office, and the owner for Third Encore was like, "Yo, man, I just seen what just happened in there." Because it was a glass thing. You could see the glass, and the guy was kind of scolding me, telling me, you know, I couldn't come in there. So, all right, cool. So he said, "I seen what just happened." And he took me, he said, "I want to show you something." And he took me into a room and they had some DW drums in there. Wow. And this is like back when DW was making these like cannon bass drums. So the bass drum was like a 22. It was like a 22, but it was like a 22 by 23 or so. It was long, right? But it was shaking the room, bro, and it didn't have a mic on it or nothing. So he was like, "Yo, play these drums." And I sat down and I played those drums. I played the DW drums, and I was like, "Man, these drums sound great." And I wound up using them on Arsenio. Was the first time I ever used them drums on Arsenio. Wow. And it was with Silk, and it was an all-natural kit with chrome hardware, and the bass drum was super long. Like when we was having rehearsal, they would take the mic off that bass drum. So at that time, they was DW was making bass drums and stuff, and they had names for them like the Goliath and Behemoth and all of that type stuff. So that was my introduction to DW. Wow. And then when I started playing for SWV was when I tried to get an endorsement with them, and I got the endorsement with them as I was playing for SWV. So I've been with DW for forever. You know what I mean? And I am the longest running commercial for DW in the world. I believe because I try to sell drums every turn. I mean, when I wake up, I try to sell drums all the time. I go to churches, I play in churches, and I'm like, "Yo, man, what drums y'all got?" nah, y'all need to get y'all some DWs.
D-Dubs,
Yeah,
D-Dubs, get right.
so I've been a long time running commercial for DW to the point where it's just a part of me. Like, it's a part of my sound. It's a part of my look. You know me. I'm a sneaker dude. You know,
Fresh.
I think Louis is the greatest master painter that ever walked the face of the earth. And Louis is just, I just think he's amazing. And it's so many. The one thing I love about the company and about the drums is, you know, it's no thought that gets turned away. If I could say it like that,
out the box.
I mean, you know, Daru, look at your setup. Like,
yes.
you know, like if you was on Pearl or something like that, or another one of these companies, and you'd be like, yo, man, I need y'all to make me 8x8, you know, whatever, bass drum, or whatever. It'd be like, yo, man, look, whatever's on the line, that's what we got.
Facts.
Whatever color's there, that's what we got. And that's it. With DW, it's like it's never a no.
Nope.
It has never been a no. If I'd be like, yeah, I want a 15-inch tom, okay. And by what? By what? You want 15 by what? You know what I mean? So it's never, or even if I come up with something, it's like, yo, I think we should try to do this or do that. And it's never a no. It's always all right, let's look into it. Let's try to make that happen. You know what I mean? So I think that's very important. It's very important to who you are, what your sound is, and what you try to bring across. You know, you got to have the right equipment, and the right equipment for me for 26 years has been those DW drums.
Wow.
And you know, like I said, man, like, you know, you are a guy that's out of the box. And in order for somebody to take what you have in your head and make it come to life, it was DW, because no other company could have done that.
Wow.
You would have been disgusted and you'd have been upset, because you'd have been like, man, this ain't it.
This ain't it.
This ain't it. This ain't it, man. This ain't it. So I mean, I love those guys over there. I love Don and you know, and everybody, and Steve Vega, and you know, Garrison,
Scott,
and Jules. Jules always make my clinics. She always help set up perfectly. I love Jules, and you know, just everybody over there, because I mean, I've always, like I said, I've always been one to, you know, try to think out the box and try to find my sound and try to see what, you know, I mean, a lot of times I go to DW, man, and it could be something laying in the corner on the wall. Like, it'd be like, yeah, I remember the first time I seen a snare drum with the legs on it. It was leaning in the corner on the wall, and I was like, yo, man, what is that? And they're like, oh, that's something we ain't never come out with. It's like, a word? Well, I want that.
I want that, exactly.
And you know what I mean? And it became a thing. Everybody started ordering it, and everybody started seeing it, and it's like, yeah. Same thing with the short stack toms. You know, the by fives. That was sitting in the corner, and I was like, yo, man, what are those? Like, oh, the pancake toms. We never coming out with that. I took them joints and played the first pancake set.
Sure did.
It was called Champagne, but it looked pink, sparkle. And I played it on Jay Leno with Tyrese. And that's the first time anybody ever seen the pancake joints. And he was like, yo, how you playing with all them snare drums? Man, those ain't snare drums, man. Those are toms. But I seen that at DW, and it was just sitting in the corner, man.
Wow. Just
sitting in the corner, like, yeah, we never come out with that. Oh, word, you're not? That sounds amazing, and I need that.
So that's why you're one of the most definitely influential drummers, you know, from our generation when it comes to like influencing people to want to do stuff. Powerful.
Thanks, man.
Can't pay for that. And I'm thankful for what you contribute, you know, not only just in swag, just like you said, your choice and looking and seeing something out of nothing. That's commendable, bro.
Yeah, thanks.
Wow.
Thanks.
And Jay Drew, he was talking about that story about he wanted to mention that show that you did with I forgot the artist, but his mom ended up joining.
Right, I heard that.
With Faith Evans. It was a show you did at the Fox Fox
No,
Theater years ago.
it was with Mary J.
It was
And what
Mary.
it was I was playing with. Well, no matter of fact, yeah, it was with Mary, and I was playing with Mary, and I remember his sister and his mom and them coming, and Mary was having a moment, and she brought her out on stage, and I'm gonna tell you what was also going on at the same time. Mary's dad was at the show.
Wow.
Because Mary's dad lived in Detroit, and I think Mary's dad came there, and she hasn't spoken to him for a long time, and he asked her to buy him a car or something like that. And she just spazzed out like on the stage, like, "Daddy, where were you?" You know, we was doing a song called oh man, I forgot the name of the song.
God.
It was like Your Child or something like that, like the song. And she spazzed out on her father, and I remember, you know, Karen, you know, come out and consoling her, but then also singing. And you know, a lot of times people, you know, I've gotten that bouncing up and down and being excited about what I'm playing from
showmanship, bro. It's crazy.
From Liberty DeVito. So I went to my first concert I ever went to was Billy Joel.
Oh wow.
And I seen Billy Joel's drummer playing Liberty DeVito. And just the way he was, you know, he was going about it.
Swag
like,
outs.
Yeah, like me being a drummer, it connected with me so much because it had a look that, yo, you love what you're doing. You love your music, you know. But my adjustment to that was when Mary got upset or she's yelling and screaming and she's, you know, going through her emotions, I always felt like she was by herself. So I had to do something. I would play stuff to go with what she was feeling, but also my aggression, my jumping up and down, it's like, yo, we gonna tell him that's right, Mary, let's get him. Yeah, tell him off. Like that was where all of that came from.
Powerful.
And then it became where it was moody. It was like I was doing it when I was happy, and I was doing it when I was mad, and I was just doing it when I was grooving. Or it's like it had moods, it had swings to it.
Swag,
I remember Prince coming to a show that we did with Mary, and he was talking to our front of house engineer. His name is 𝗵𝗘𝗪𝗓, and he said, "Yo, man, how's the drummer keeping time and bouncing like that? Like, how's that happening?" and 𝗵𝗪𝗪 looked at him and he said, "I don't know, man. You gotta ask him." and that was like Prince, like, was just like, "Yo, how do you do that?" It's like, man, it's emotion. It's just like Mary cursing somebody out. Like I'm gonna go with her. So whatever I have to do, I just do it. I just, you know, the hydraulic seat, whatever it was like, yo, I'm going up. I'm coming down. I'm going up.
It wasn't no rocking socks out back then either, was it?
No, actually, rocking sock was the first seat, right? I mean, I did it on a regular seat.
That's what I'm saying. You was rocking sock before rocking sock.
Right. I was doing it on a regular seat, and then the rocking sock came out, and then DW had their version of it because the rocking socks, they were breaking and they was losing air and all of that good stuff. But yeah, man, like I was blessed to be able to keep time and play and give you that emotion. You know what I mean? Because if nothing for nothing, it's like I'm saying, yo, look at us, look at Mary, listen to what she's saying. Like, yo, this is what it is. And then it became like a thing. Like, it's like, you know, the band is like, yo, we gonna all jump on that same spot with Gerald's jumping up on the seat. it looked crazy because like we singing a song and it's like so much joy and all of us like damn, we like damn, and it's like and it looked crazy and people like puffing, everybody's coming to show like yo, that is crazy, like that's amazing. It's like
Wow.
Yo, it was just all out emotion, man. All out emotion. And like I said, I've always, the way that I have approached my career and everything is I kind of be like, over here, look and listen. You know what I mean? Look and listen. So my just the way that I went about things was just in that manner. It's like, yo, I'm playing with aggression. I'm gonna play this music so dope. Like you gotta ask, or you gotta know. You know,
Awesome.
you gotta ask and you gotta know. And it's funny because, like I said, Karen, she got up there and she started singing, and Mary is crying, and it's just a whole bunch going on. But I remember that. I remember that whole lot. I'm gonna tell you one thing. When I met Dana, and I met Dana in Brooklyn in Juniors, right? Like Juniors was the spot where we went every Sunday night after my church. My church had a broadcast at 10:30.
Wow.
And then we would go to Juniors afterwards. So
Cheesecake?
Dana was sitting in Juniors with a girl that he was trying to date or dating, I don't know. And I knew the girl. So when I walked in Juniors, she said, Gerald, come here. I want you to meet somebody. So she goes, yo, this is Dana Davis. This is the drummer for the Winans. She's like, yo, this is Gerald. And Dana was like, he kind of blew me off. He kind of like, oh yeah, what up? You know what I mean? He gave me the what up though. Like, it was real weird. So it was real weird. So check this out. So fast forward. I used to talk to this girl, Debbie Winans, is the Winans sisters. So Debbie, right? So I went to Detroit one time to visit and hang out, and she was like, "Yo, I gotta get you with Dana." So she got Dana to come get me and everything. So I'm a little, I'm a little like, like, yo, I don't like this dude because he played me. He played me. So when he came to get me, I was like, yo, you got some drums at your house? Like, can you play drums? And he was like, yeah, we go to my house. We go to my basement.
You cracked that head.
And, man, I went to that basement. Man, I just lost my mind. And me and Dana became friends ever since then. Same thing with Michael Williams.
Oh, wow.
Michael Williams. Michael Williams dissed me so bad, man. We used to open up, Heads used to open up for the commission.
Yo, so people that don't, a lot of people they don't know what's, so
right.
He's talking about that's Hezekiah Walker.
Yeah.
From New York City, and Gerald played with Hez, and Hezekiah, he's a pillar.
Yeah, he's my bishop now. He's a bishop now. Yeah.
Hezekiah was the guy, just like how the Winans was for like Detroit. Yeah. Hezekiah was New York. You know what I'm saying? And
the Brooklyn bounce, man.
Brooklyn, man. Y'all was next level on the records, bro.
We had the Brooklyn bounce. And it's funny because so I made it to Dana's basement and we played. And so that beat that he played on, he didn't say this, but the New Jack beat that you heard him playing was a beat that I showed him, but he added the roll to it.
Oh,
and it
wow.
was the beginning of the Ron Winans joint.
That was Skeeter. Skeeter played on that record. Skeeter, Mario.
Dana,
that was Dana?
Listen. So
wait a minute. My head is already cracked.
No,
I gotta hear the story.
I'm gonna put you right in the history. I'm gonna make you.
Oh
make it
my
right
God, my head is cracked.
So I taught Dana that beat. Dana added what he wanted. He added cowbell, all of that stuff, right? Then Perfected Praise did a record. Skeeter did the same beat in the beginning of that song, but it's two different songs with that same type of intro with the drums. You gotta go. You gotta go do your history. Daru, you gotta go do your history.
Obviously, my head just got cracked.
But I'm gonna tell you what it is. So the first time me and Dana sat down, we worked on that beat. I gave him that beat, and he put all the extras to it. What happened was, in between that space, in between the time that record was done, and then when they went to do Perfected Praise record, I went to Marvin's house. And I was in Skeeter's basement with Jeff Davis and Skeeter. And Skeeter, I was showing Skeeter some drum chops. Same situation, bro. Then next thing you know,
it's on the record. Oh, I lost it audio.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm back on. I'm back on.
Yeah.
Okay. The Perfected Praise joint came out. Skeeter was playing those chops that we went over in his basement. Went to Mike Williams' house. Went crazy on Michael Williams because Michael Williams, they didn't speak to me, man. Only when I was with Jeff.
Wow.
They didn't speak to me, man. They used to diss me, man.
Oh my God.
Joey that used to play for the Clark sisters. It was a guy named Joey that used to play. Like I remember one time I had all of them dudes on the drums on the phone, and this was when we had phones, not cell phones. I had them all on the phone playing chops over the phone because they used to diss me, man. And I remember going to Detroit and Dana calling everybody from his basement like, "Yo, you hear this dude?" Like, yeah. I remember sending Gordon Campbell to Dana's basement. Yeah. So I mean, like, you know, life is good, man. Life was, you know, was me coming up and me letting people know, because, you know, I'm gonna be totally honest with you, man. Like, the world without the internet, before the internet came about, the world wouldn't know that we were such good musicians or good drummers. Only people would know would be our parents, our community, and then when we went to other churches or we went to conventions. That's the only way that people would know that we can play and we were good. See, now you got the internet. It's just like, you know, the little drummer boy is amazing, right? You see him on the internet, but you watch all his clips. But then when you see him at NAMM, you just like, oh, there go the little drummer boy. He's cute. And that's it. Because the wow factor is gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like, you know, us coming to somebody's anniversary, choir anniversary or something, and
back
just
in the
going
days,
in
bro,
and it's like, oh,
y'all was like superheroes. Yeah. It's like when you knew a certain church was coming to fellowship, it was like, yo, everybody call your people, because like 𝗟𝗡𝗪𝗓 was a big drummer. He was living in Michigan, and when we knew he was coming, you called your homies like, yo, you better be here tonight. You want to see this, because you got to see it in person.
You want to see that. Yeah, you got to see it in person. So that's the way that I came up, man. I came up in a totally different, you know, my environment and the way that I was bred. And I also played the congas at first. I didn't play the drums. I was on the congas playing in church, and the drummer stopped coming. So I got on the drums. And when I got on the drums, everybody was like, yo, you should play the drums. I was like, oh, okay. And that was it. You know, conga players, when you transition from congas to drums, your feet usually don't work. You know, your hands work, but your feet usually don't work. And when I sat down, everything was working fine. Like, all the concept between your hands and feet, if you're a conga player, you have to learn the foot portion of it.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Because you got the hands, but your feet normally don't work. So, I was able to make that transition, and people loved it, man. And I ain't looked back.
That's commendable. That makes sense. Not to cut you off. That makes sense why you and Dana, y'all vocabulary, man. It's like when y'all do a fill, you mean it. You mean every bit of that fill. You know what I'm saying? That group you're playing, that's how Dana is saying. When you mean it. So that's something that I added to my drumming. So I salute you. Wow, my head is still cracked from this. My head is still cracked from.
I'm sorry. I had to put it on. Right.
But you know what's funny though? I want to say drummers are funny. Drummers are funny because either we rock with each other or we don't. You know what I'm saying? You back?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So when he was talking about him getting the side eye, it's an energy thing. It's like you got once you prove yourself, you good. You know. But it's just like until then, you suspect.
Yeah. It was funny, man, because it was weird because they wouldn't speak to me not unless I was with Jeff, man. Nobody. They would not speak to me. Man, I remember the first time I met Joe Smith, man. Joe Smith, man, we was at one of their conventions when I was playing with Hez, and he was in the back of the ballroom. When I got on the drums, he was like, he came from the back of the ballroom. Everybody knows who he is. He walked straight up the center aisle when I started playing, and he came over to me and got in my ear and said, "Yo, is that my snare drum you playing?" I was like, nah. But I promise you, bro. I played a drum fill. I played a role from the time he walked away from the drums all the way back till he got to the back of the ballroom again. Hezekiah was looking at me like, yo, what is happening? I'm like, nah, son. I gotta let my man know, son. And then when it was over, he came and talked to me. He's like, oh man, I'm sorry for that, man. I just wanted to know if you was playing my snare drum. And he's like, oh, you sound good and everything. And that was my introduction to Joe Smith. And it's funny because Jeff Davis was standing on the side. There was another guy, I don't know if you ever heard of him. His name was 𝗏𝗘𝗪.
No, I didn't know
𝗏𝗘𝗪 was the first drummer. He was the first, you asked Dana about him, he was the first drummer for BB and CC.
Oh, wow.
So it was a guy named 𝗏𝗘𝗪. David Frazier played keys, and another guy named Michael Fisher. Michael Fisher played bass, and they played for BB and CC. They was the BB and CC's first band. They played with Jermaine Hawkins, but 𝗏𝗘𝗪 had the fastest foot I ever heard in my entire life, and he was from Brooklyn. And a lot of people knew about him, but his foot was just off the rails. Like, he had the fastest foot I ever heard, ever.
Dang.
It was crazy.
I'm not even mad. This show was a little lengthy, but I'm not even mad because I'm like, this is just so many gems. And Juice, I think we got a question. Right. You want to pop that question on a tube, Juice? Can you see that, Joe?
I can't see it. I can't see it really good. What is this saying?
The person name is Glenn Fryer. When you perform in live, do you get your energy and emotion connection through the audience feedback? Any dose of? Can you read it?
Oh yes.
Okay, go ahead. That's for you.
Yeah. Well, I can't read the most part of it. What does it say? Feeling and emotion, leading. What does it say? I can't.
Okay, so
really
the first part of the question is, when you're performing live, do you get energy and emotion connection through the audience feedback? The second part of the question, and does that day-to-day feelings and emotion leading to performance affect how you voice yourself on the night?
Yes and no, because when I'm playing, man, I'm going to give my 100%. You know what I mean? And I expect everyone that paid to see a show. whether I'm giving you a show by myself or whether the artist is giving you a show, I'm just making sure that you're being entertained in every angle, from every angle. So yeah, I'm emotionally kind of attached to just playing. I feel so good, you know, it's the best feeling to be doing something that you love, doing something that was gifted to you by God, to just, you know, entertain other people, to be able to, you know, I want you to enjoy the music like I enjoy the music. So yeah, I am one person I feed off the crowd, I feed off of everybody, but I'm automatically giving 100% when I start doing whatever it is or whatever show I'm doing. So
facts. Yeah. I can agree with that for sure. Any other questions, Jules?
Cool. Yeah.
Cool. So, yo, my head is still cracked on that.
Yeah.
Are you showing Dana speeding all of them these beats? That's oh my God,
man.
So the track.
Yo, Daru, you know what's crazy? Wait, not to cut you off. Go ahead. Wait, not to cut you off though. Yeah. But I was just in Detroit with Dana for like 3-4 days. I was playing for this artist named 𝗏𝗪𝗓. 𝗏𝗪𝗓 is from Detroit. She can really sing, and she has gospel album coming out. And you know, me and Dana just, you know, we do stuff. We watch videos. We talk about drum stuff, and you know, we do that stuff over the phone and everything. But it is cool that, you know, like we became so close and we became, you know, brothers. And you know, I watched him. You know, he had a 𝗟𝗓𝗪, I had a 𝗟𝗓𝗪, but you know, Dana's sister had like, or sister or mom had like a beauty parlor in their house.
Oh wow!
So he was getting his hair done for free. My mom also listen. My mom also owned a beauty parlor, and she used to practice putting the 𝗟𝗓𝗪 in people's hair. She used to practice on me putting the 𝗟𝗓𝗪 in other people's hair.
That's hilarious.
So that's why I had a 𝗟𝗓𝗪 sitting under the red lights and the whole bit. You know, I have naturally curly hair, but she used to put the 𝗟𝗓𝗪 in, son, and sometimes it used to come out, James Brown used to come out straight. Sometimes it didn't come out. It didn't come out at all.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
I was going through it, but yeah, that's the story about the 𝗟𝗓𝗪. But
oh man,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Classic, no, it's all good. I'm gonna fast forward so we can wrap it up. But yeah, I remember coming to New York out of high school, and one of the first cats I seen play with a drum machine was 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏. I used to go to Wilson's.
Oh yeah.
See Sir Pepsi Riley, I think down at Vanguard. What was that? The Village?
Yeah.
Bro, I was like, why is this drummer? And to be honest, 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏 was the first drummer that I saw play with the Questlove with just a snare drum and a floor tom. Before I even knew, you know, before I even Amir. And I remember seeing Nat using the drum machine. I'm like, yo, that was crazy. That was crazy. And Nat, he used to let me get on and play his kit. But he was ahead of a time too. Shout out to 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏. Y'all brothers, man, playing with those drum machines was just like the MPCs. That was crazy. I was like, why do we need it? Why I couldn't figure the concept out, but it was funky. Yeah. It was funky, but let me tell
you the story. Let me tell you about the story of me and the drum machine. So I'm gonna try to do as fast as possible. So my first gig was Guy, right? Because of Aaron Hall being in the choir with Hezekiah, you know, Aaron used to when Aaron left or whatever, he took I'll Make It, the record I'll Make It, for Teddy Riley to hear him sing on a record, on a song. Because that's the only record he ever sang on, basically. Right? Wow. So Teddy goes, who is the two guys playing the drums? And Aaron goes, nah, it's one guy. It's my little cousin Gerald. That's what he used to call me.
Wow.
And Teddy was like, nah, it's not one person sounding like that. It's all them rolls. You hear them rolls like that. It's not one person doing that. It got to be two drummers. So Aaron was like, "Nah, I'm gonna bring them to you so you can hear him play." So he takes me up to Rocket Studios in Manhattan, and I walk in. And when I walk in, it's like a 13-piece Simmons drum set there, because 𝗚𝗘𝗪𝗘 was playing or somebody was playing, right? So it's guy rehearsal. They got a 13-piece electric drum set or something in there, right? So I was like, "Yo, man, I don't play no electric drums," right? So they're like, "All right." They took me in another room, and it was a drum set. So I sat down, I started playing, and Teddy's losing his mind, like, "Oh my God, this is crazy. How is this dude playing like this? Yo, look at his foot, blah, blah, blah," right? So he was like, "Yo, you come on tour with me right now. I'll fight for that drummer. You come on tour with me right now."
Right
and
now.
I was like, "Nah, man, I'm good." Like, I was young. I was like 16, maybe 15, 16, 17, maybe. And I was like, "Nah, I'm good." I was like, "Yo, your music is kind of corny. It's kind of whack, because it's, we play harder music than that in church." And I was like, "Yo, in church we play harder music, so I'm good on that." So
That's
cool.
funny.
Sometime passed, and then they go, "Yo, you gonna come on the road with us and be the drum tech." So mind you, Jeff Davis is now the drummer. Jeff Davis is the drummer for Guy. I'm the drum tech and stage manager. I go on the road. We do the thing. We go to Japan. We do all of that. All right, fine, well and good. Jeff comes back. Jeff starts playing with what's her name, man? I forgot the lady's name, but famous jazz singer that passed away. Tall, light-skinned lady. Oh man, I forgot her name. Anyway, he was playing. Stephen Ford was playing for her, and he wound up going with her, right? Okay, so then 𝗚𝗘𝗪𝗘 comes back and plays drums, right? So all along, Teddy's like, "Yo, I want you to be the drummer. I want you to be the drummer." Nah, I'm good, right? So we get to LA, and Teddy clears the room. He's like, "Yo, I need to work on this song on the machine, so y'all got a break." Right. So I thought he left the room and was going to come back from the bathroom or whatever and do the song. But the machine started playing. I'm sitting there and I'm like, "Man, nobody in the room." So I jump on the drums.
Just going ham.
And I'm playing the song. I'll never forget it. The song is "We Can Spend the Night." So I'm playing that joint and I'm feeling this. I'm going all that. And then when I finish playing, Teddy comes from behind the machine and he go, "Yo, you the new drummer. That's it. You got the job."
Wow.
So, but the fear with me saying that I didn't want to play or the music was whack was because I never knew how to play with a drum machine. So I didn't know how to play with a drum machine because we didn't have that in church.
Yes.
That was never a thing in church.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I always feel like the R&B, the pop, all of that, all those genres come to church, and then they take stuff from church and take it back into the world.
Facts.
In this instant, it was me learning something in the world and not knowing it from church. But everything that I knew came from church, came from the rawness and the, Daru, we played all these different textures of music before we learned how to play them.
Facts.
So like when we was in church, we learned how to play 6/8, we learned how to play jazz, we learned how to play all of this stuff was done in a service. You may swing a little bit, you may side stick, all that stuff we learned.
But we didn't really know what it was.
We didn't know what it was. But once we got out there, it was like I was able to make connections with whatever music was going on out there with some music that I learned in church, or a feel or a genre or a feeling that I learned in church, or a texture that I learned in church. So, I mean, it was just, it was just to the moon from there, man.
Oh
It was
my
just to the
God.
moon. And you know, playing on those Michael Jackson records and all of that stuff, and you know, doing that stuff was all feeling, man. It was all feeling. It was all like, yo, once they put the track on, it's like, oh, I know how to sit on this.
Yes, sir.
I know what this need. Or,
yes, sir.
Or you know what I mean? I know what hi-hat pattern this need, because this hi-hat pattern going against that swing that's going on, it's going to be nice. It's going to make it move. So a lot of times they were recording me and I was playing on certain songs, but you didn't hear me. But you know, Teddy or Rodney or all the producers would say, yo, you making the track move a certain way that I can't make the track. I can't program that.
Wow.
So a lot of the swings and different stuff that you it was under there, but you didn't hear it because it was making the track move a certain way. Like a lot of people don't know that I played "Lose My Breath," the Destiny's Child "Lose My Breath" song.
Yep.
That's me playing all of that. I replayed it on the V drum.
Crack my head too, right there, bro. It's crazy.
I
just found out about that.
That's me playing that. That's me playing that, bro.
The marching band joint?
That's me playing that. Yes. I replayed all of that HSB, whatever they call it, the black colleges. I replayed all of that. So one time I was in LA. Rodney Jerkins had just moved to LA. He had an apartment off of Sunset, and he was like, yo, he called me. He was like, yo, what's up? What you doing? I said, oh, I'm in LA. He's like, yo, I just moved to LA. He was like, yo, come by the apartment. I want to make some samples. I was like, all right, cool. Got in the car, went to his place, got in there. He had the V drum set up. We had the MP connected to the V drums. We sampled the sounds from the actual piece of the actual sample. We sampled the sounds from the actual sample, and then I replayed each one of them on the V drum.
Oh my God!
And
that's so dope.
What happened was Rodney took that beat, he put it in the box, which is the computer. He left it in there, and 2 years later, Destiny's Child was like, "Yo, you got some music?" And he played that beat.
They went bananas.
And he didn't remember that I did the beat. He didn't remember that, but they wanted to buy that beat. And I'm sitting on stage with them when they say, yo, this is our new single. And I'm like, yo, this sounds so familiar to me. This sounds so familiar. And for 2-3 days, listen, for 2-3 days, as I'm learning the song, I'm like, yo, man, I heard this beat before or something. Like, and I was like, yo, and I had to, because he forgot. And my name didn't get on it because he forgot that I did it. And it was like,
oh man, that's a whole nother story, bro.
I'm sorry.
No, but thank you for the history. That's crazy. We're gonna do another segment, but bro, I thank you for all of the knowledge that you shared. Although we vaguely talked about the topic in spurts, but I'm just everything you shared.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But you know what? Dana and J.Q. covered it. So it was just good to get your history and all these gems, man. I'm thankful for everything you shared. I loved it, and I know that the viewers loved it.
But you know, yeah, you know, Daru, you know, just to touch on it a little bit, you know, serving church and playing in church is it's a whole nother thing, and I haven't done it in a long time, but I know what it takes to, you know, play and worship, and what it takes to be sensitive to spirit and to be sensitive to what's going on in church. And yeah, man, it's a blessing because, but what I did was I was playing for the old people's choir, you know, the choir that sang on First Sunday, right? And the reason why I like to do that was because I didn't really feel like this.
We lost you. Back.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't really like playing with the drum machine in the world. So what I did was I reached and I started playing for the open. Still there? Hello. Hello.
Yo, can you hear me now? Okay, yeah. So my phone might have died. Let me go see.
I just plugged mine up too.
Let me see.
Yeah, but
yeah, I think my no.
Yeah, so I was saying that, you know, I like to play for the old people's choir because their music was we didn't use no drum machines. We just played that Hawkins music and all of that. Uh-oh.
I'm still here. Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, you back?
Let me
back.
You can still talk to them. We can wrap it up. I'm gonna.
You know, I like playing old music.
See if I can get my phone
because it was raw. And it was
see something.
You know. Uh-oh.
I can still hear you. Yeah, we can hear you, G. Okay, now he's locked up. Cool. Well, anyway, thank you guys for tuning into the show. I know we know it was very lengthy, but I'm glad that we got all information from all our guests today. And, hold on, let me get situated. I really enjoyed. Hope you guys enjoyed it too. Want to thank our first guest, Jay Drew, for all the information that he shared. Also, Dana Davis, my brother Dana Davis. It was so cool to get all those stories and wisdom from the great Dana, as well as Gerald. Thank you guys for sticking around and tuning in. I think we're going to do this one more time next month. So I got to see who I can get for the next show. Maybe I'm going to give y'all opportunity to DM me or message me on Facebook to see who should I bring on as a final guest for the show. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Daru Jones. Also, my website is Music Records. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we got so much information. I don't even need to play again. You know, I want to shout out the studio, I think it's Bold Nashville. Big thanks to Megan and Tyler for letting me come into space. It actually looks like a church, as you can see behind me. So it was proper space for today's topic. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm wishing y'all a beautiful day. Hopefully I see y'all soon. God bless.